South African Airways has had 8 turnaround strategies that cost an estimated 16 billion rand. They have all failed. Now, there's a new one. Minister Malusi Gigaba presented it to Parliament last week, and he says this one will work. Minister of Public Enterprises, Malusi Gigaba, is my guest today. Minister, welcome to the show. Eight turnaround plans. This one, why will this be different? Why will this work?
Some among the ones that were adopted in the past were not implemented. What we have done now, one is to begin the process of embedding these turnaround strategies into the shareholder compact as well as the corporate plan for 2013-2014. The board as well as the chief executive will be judged and assessed on the basis of their implementation of this. And that's what we are looking for.
But you've had this, you've had executives, you've had boards, you've had this, and you say they weren't implemented. Why not? Who's going to take the can for that?
Well, I can't account for why they were not implemented in the past. As I say, what we have done now is to embed this new turnaround strategy into the shareholder compact and corporate plan. So they are being converted into an implementation plan on the basis of which the executives and the board are going to be held accountable.
Are they going to be held accountable, or are they just going to be fired?
We've been holding them accountable. We've been holding them accountable not only at SAA but in other state-owned companies. I think everybody in South Africa and in the companies in our portfolio now know that the shareholder representative doesn't take prisoners, they don't suffer fools, and we hold people accountable. It's
been 13 years and 16 billion rand. I can't really see what holding accountable in these 13 years has been of an ANC administration, by the way.
Well, I think the issue is that over the period, we've learned important lessons in how we have to exercise shareholder oversight over these complex institutions. And that is what we are doing now, to use that experience, to use the lessons that have been learned to ensure that the company is turned around through utilizing the institutional mechanisms which are available, such as the shareholder compact, the corporate plan, and the mechanisms available to hold the boards and the executives accountable. And it's important that we should do so, and not say that because some of the plans in the past were not implemented, that therefore we're going to throw our hands in the air and walk away.
Let's look at some of the detail of this plan. The cost, for example, that doesn't seem, you haven't put the number, and neither has your CEO or the board put a number to how much this plan will cost. Why is there no detail? Why aren't you telling me, as the shareholder, how much you're going to spend on this?
Because the cost is still being worked out between the National Treasury, the Department of Public Enterprises, as well as the South African Airways. There's a number of variables that need to be looked at, because as we indicate, this is a long-term strategy which has got short-term, medium-term, and long-term elements. In the short term, there are critical pillars and milestones that you need to look at. So to look at the strategy in totality, you need to factor in first and foremost what this plan is going to cost against the fact that the airline was never properly capitalized. So it has undergone a period of long undercapitalization that has impacted the airline and how it functions over the years.
I understand that, but I'm saying to you, I voted in 2009. I put my cross there, big fat one, and then I sent my MPs to Parliament. You go and say to them, aha, Justice Malala's representatives, here's our plan. We're going to fix this thing, and I hope you do, because I fly SAA all the time. So you go there, but you don't.
I'm grateful for you and all the other patrons of SAA who have remained loyal to our airline
and I want to remain loyal, but I want to know what is the cost. And you're not telling me. And I'm the shareholder. I'm your boss, and I'm SAA's boss here.
The costs are being calculated and worked into the plan. As I say, we don't need to satisfy the anxiety and overzealousness of those who want to know how much is this going to cost immediately. We need to build this properly, to calculate it properly, so that we are confident when the full implementation rolls out and the momentum of implementation builds, that we are implementing a program on a sustainable
Minister,
basis.
you can't blame me for
properly
being anxious.
calculated
You've lost 16 billion rand of taxpayers' money. That's how much SA has lost with these turnaround.
And nobody doubts for a moment the concerns, the genuine concerns among South Africans, and particularly the patrons of the airline. And that is why we need to be very systematic in what we do to properly calculate. You see, the issue with SAA, as I say, is not only that we need to calculate the cost of this turnaround strategy, we must build into it the fact that the airline has been undercapitalized over a long period of time. And mind you, it's not only SAA that has been faced with financial difficulties. A number of other airlines, both domestic and international, have faced financial difficulties during the last
and you did a good
years.
job. You turned around SA Express, for example, right? Now, I want to understand why you're taking a business like that and putting it into the same poisoned pot that is SAA, and also throwing in Mango, which...
No. What we are saying is that we are going to create one group. We are not saying that SA Express is going to be merged into SAA and Mango is going to be merged into SAA, because these three airlines play a different role, they have a different niche market, and therefore they need to focus their strategies on those niche markets. SAA is a national flag carrier, SA Express as a regional feeder airline, and Mango as a low-cost carrier.
Okay, one last question on the aviation industry. I must say, I also, when I'm feeling the pinch, I fly the low-cost airlines. Mango is now going to be in this group with SAA, and I look at others which have died, One Time, Nationwide, and so forth. Aren't you taking my money, giving it to Mango to put good business people like Kulula and others out of business by taking this? Basically, my 5 million, which I've already given, that you've given to SAA, is going to cross-subsidize a business that kills low-cost airlines.
No. The other low-cost airlines have died as a result of their own business plans. It had absolutely nothing to do with Mango. Mango is a very competitive airline which has been doing well. At the present moment, it is a subsidiary of SAA. So when we talk about creating a single South African aviation group, we're talking about restructuring even the manner in which Mango relates with SAA, so that it is able to stand out there and operate. Even at the present moment, its board is made up of board members of SAA, and therefore it doesn't account on its own. It accounts as part of South African Airways.
Let's move to Transnet. This is a business that you like, that you've said very nice things about. But I'm worried that they continue to spend, 300 billion rand on their MDS strategy, whereas the economy is tanking. So they're going to lay track, they're going to do all sorts of things, and there won't be anything to...
Why should you worry about that, Justice?
I'm worried about it because it's more of our money going down the drain.
Actually, you should be happy that Transnet is implementing a counter-cyclical investment strategy. Mm-hmm. They are investing into our economy even as our economy is going through difficulties.
I think that's fantastic.
They have confidence in the South African economy. In actual fact, it's not 300 billion rand, it's 307 billion rand. Yeah. It's a good investment because over 50% of this investment plan goes into creating new capacity in rail, ports and pipelines, and over 200 billion rand of this is going to create rail infrastructure.
So that sounds
that
fantastic,
is what we need to do.
But if you don't have platinum moving from Marikana or from the platinum belt down to KZN, then you're building white elephant, aren't you?
But you see, Transnet doesn't conduct its business in a vacuum. The entire economy is recovering. It's in the process of recovery.
The economy is not recovering. We had 0.9% growth in first quarter.
Well, it increased over the last quarter.
The Treasury Reserve Bank is saying they've revised their forecast down by 2%.
That notwithstanding, the reason Transnet changed its capital expenditure program from a 5-year capital expenditure program to a 7-year capital expenditure program, a market demand strategy, was to invest in creating infrastructure capacity to stimulate demand in the economy. That's what other countries that are far more developed than ours have done, to invest in infrastructure capacity and use that as a stimulant for economic recovery, for job creation, for skills development, and in particular to industrialize the economy. And that is precisely what Transnet is doing, and I think we should be proud of them for doing that.
Minister Malusi Gigaba, thank you very much for your time, and I hope it all works. We wish you luck. It's
going
fantastic job that you're doing. After the break, our winner and loser of the week. Stay with us.
News that moves. ENCA.com.